Hi, I'm Katherine Roberts, founder and owner of Katherine Roberts Yoga for Golfers. Welcome to the second of our three-part golf fitness series for the PGA of Canada. As I mentioned in our first session back in March, Yoga for Golfers focuses on the mechanics of the body. Key areas will be flexibility, stability, balance, symmetry, core strength, posture, and mental focus. This is open to all ages and all levels of ability, and no previous yoga experience is necessary. In our first session, we focused on a dynamic warm-up to get golf ready for the season and for each round. I hope you've been able to share that conditioning sequence with all of your golfers. In the second session, we go through a series of standing and seated yoga-based exercises, as well as a post-round restorative sequence designed specifically to increase performance and endurance through Canada's more concentrated peak season. A more compressed golf season has a need for increased peak season fitness conditioning. This will help improve performance on the course, and it's instrumental to improving longevity, endurance, and overall vitality. Some of the benefits that golfers will receive is that they'll play more rounds more frequently with less body fatigue and less stress on the body. It will also help golfers minimize the impact of aches and pains from playing more golf and reduce the risk of injury. Again, please share this video with your golfers. Additional training will be provided in the webinar next week, and there will be a link at the end of this video to register for the webinar. So let's get started. In the golf swing, all of the activation of energy starts in the feet. In yoga, especially in the standing postures, the first thing we do is set our stance, set the position of our feet. I want to take a moment before we get into the standing sequence to talk about the importance of the feet and as it relates to the golf swing. So for many of us, just take a look down at your feet. For many of us, we have flat feet. And what happens is that it actually causes a weakness through the adductors. Okay, because it's all interconnected. So I would like you to think about just lifting in the arches of the feet, and what you'll feel is a more activation in the adductors here. Okay, now how does that relate to your golf swing? Well, if I want to rotate my hips, if my feet are flat, I can start to rotate my feet this way, my hips will follow, and this creates kind of a sway and slide. So I want to make sure that the activation again starts from the feet and makes its way up so I can have a very efficient rotation of the hips, okay? So you can just work on that. Just think of lifting in the arches, not rolling to the outside edges of the feet, but just lifting up in the arches. You'll flex your quads and you'll really feel the activation here. So maybe if this is new for you, hold this for about 5 to 7 breaths, take a rest, walk around, shake your feet out, come back and do it again. For this standing wall series, I'm going to have you take your left foot and place it right up against the wall. So I'm using chairs here, but I really want your foot right up against the wall, okay, with the toes on the floor. And now you'll step your right foot forward into a crescent lunge, okay? So I don't want your body forward. I would like you to be leaning back just a little bit, but not sinking into your low back. So really activating this back leg, starting from the feet. Now with this right leg, pull the energy up from the feet, pull the right hip back, and just hold here for a couple breaths. Good job. So as I'm inhaling, I'm pressing this leg back more. I want you to feel so much activation in this back leg and power that it's like you could drive the wall into your neighbor's house, okay? Now, the next thing we would do is just bring the arms above the head. Okay, and drop the shoulders down and squeeze the leg back, pull the right hip back, pull the navel in and lengthen your spine long so you feel all the strength here. Very good. Stay here and breathe. Beautiful. Now, come out of there, and let's turn the left foot at a 45-degree angle. We're moving into a warrior two. So my heel is on the wall, but my foot is off the floor at a 45-degree angle. And we're really going to use the wall to drive the hips, okay? So now we're talking about getting mobility through the hips from the internal rotators, and now we're talking about getting more mobility and strength in the hips by driving them. You should really feel this in your hip, and also the strength in the glutes. So keep moving. You can take your hand onto the wall and drive. And breathe. So all of this power generation from the lower body is so critical, and feeling the connection to the earth through the feet and using the wall. Good. Hold there. Good. Now if you want to, you can bring your right arm up and you can start to feel the extension. So think extension in your golf swing from your right hip all the way up through the fingertips, and hold here and breathe. So good. Beautiful. Good. Now bring the elbow to the knee. Now we're going to add some coiling of the spine over this stable lower body. Bring the elbow to the knee. Bring the left arm up. Now lift up out of this right shoulder. Good. And now as you inhale, I want you to rotate from your torso. Let your arms stay parallel to the ground. So just like the golf swing, you know, I want the initiation to come from the deepest part of my abdominals and my torso, not my arm flailing around, right? So inhale, roll open. So good. And then exhale. Inhale, roll open. And exhale. Very good. Now be very mindful when you come out of this. Straighten your right leg. Good. And then just come out of there, take a few steps. So you should really feel the difference in the body, right? The left leg is really fired up, the left hip is open, the right leg is really moving and powerful. Let's switch sides. So now take your right heel up against the wall, toes on the floor, step your left hip forward, crescent lunge, okay? Hands on your waist. So, you know, in yoga, it's just like golf. The big movements, the big progressions happen in the subtleties of the movement, not the big movement. So you know when you do something like you might just change your grip slightly, it changes your whole swing. So think about the subtle movements in yoga, especially starting from the feet. So as you're pressing the right heel back, you're pulling the left hip back, you're pulling the navel in, and you're lengthening your spine. What you're doing here, that whole action is increasing your posture, right? Making better posture. It's the foundation of your golf swing. So hold here. Good job. And then sweep your arms up. Press that right leg back more, right? So if you could use about 20 more yards, I know I could use 20 more yards. I want you to breathe 20% more deeply, and I want you to press that right leg back 20% more. And if you're where you need to be, that's perfect. Just stay right there. Good. Beautiful. Now turn your right foot at a 45-degree angle. Bring your right hand against the wall. Good. And then just start to drive your right hip to the left. So I always say golf is so much like yoga in that it's very much about the journey. There's never, like in golf, we never fully arrive. And in yoga, you never really fully arrive either because it's always the journey of learning more. So try to get curious about your golf and also your yoga practice, and then hold here. Good. And then bring the elbow to the knee, bring the arm up. I'm sorry, we'll come back to that extension. Press your right hand into the wall, left arm up and extend up. Good, and then bring your elbow to your knee, okay? Lift up out of your left shoulder, and I'm showing you from behind, which is fine. Pull your belly in and rotate your torso over your stable lower body. Inhale, roll open. Exhale again. Good, inhale, roll open, keep breathing. Always come back to your breath. It's the most important thing that you do, and it will tell you if you're pushing too hard. It will tell you if you're in a place of acceptance. If you're breathing too deeply, you're in struggle. We don't want you to be in struggle on the yoga mat or on the golf course. Good. Take your hand down. Beautiful. Come up to standing. Take a few breaths. Okay, we're going to do 2 more poses using the wall. The first one is called a triangle, and we're going to transition into a half moon pose. Now, the reason we're using the wall is because as beginners, this wall gets to teach us a lot, and it gives us a lot of support. So bring your left hip against the wall, and you're going to step your right foot back at a 45-degree angle. Now, I want you to slide your body straight down the wall. Okay, and you can hold here. Good. And then if there's more for you, you can bring your right arm over your head. Good. If it bothers your neck at all, look down towards the floor. So what we're doing here is getting a stretch through the hamstrings, through the inner thighs, the adductors, getting that coiling over the stable foundation of the lower body. Good. Now, shift into your left leg and move into half moon. So I'm going to use the wall to support my body. Bring the left hand down, bring the right leg up, and then you can start to roll open and breathe here. Now, if you feel this in the back of your left knee, I want you to put a little micro bend, please, in your left knee. Hold here and breathe. So nice. Beautiful job. Take the feet side by side. Okay? And take your time and roll up one vertebrae at a time. Good. Okay, beautiful. Let's switch sides. So now, turn your left foot at a 45. Step your right leg forward. Okay? Again, use the wall as a reference. Use it for support. Eventually, we'll do all of these postures off the wall, but this is a great place to start. Right? Everybody started somewhere. Nobody started as a 3 handicap the first time they picked up a club. And breathe. So good. Keep breathing. Keep pulling the energy up the legs. Bend into your right leg. Shift into your right leg. Bring your right hand down and sweep your left leg up and just roll open. Good. Really flex this left foot. Breathe. Good. Put a little bend in your right knee. Drop this left hip. Take your feet side by side. And then mindfully just roll up to standing. Good. Let's do one more grounding exercise. And I love doing this off the golf course because it really kind of sets my intention so that when I get to the golf course, I can really feel grounded in my lower body. Okay? So I'm going to have you stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, standing up nice and tall. And this is all about visualization. Everything starts in your mind. So what you visualize, you can create. What you don't take the time to visualize gives an opportunity for other things to come into our lives that we might not want to have happen. So I'm going to have you close your eyes and bend your knees a little bit. Okay, so I'm kind of bouncing up and down a little. And I want you to visualize the earth 12 inches below your feet. Okay? And as you inhale, feel that your legs are connected to the earth 12 inches below your feet. And as you exhale and you start to straighten your legs, feel that connection as you draw the energy up the body. And just hold and breathe. Good. Now envision the earth 18 inches below your feet. Put a couple nice soft flexion, nice soft bends in the knees. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, really ground down. Press your legs into that 18 inches below the earth. And feel as you straighten the legs, the solid feeling you have. And hold here. Let's take the mind's eye now to 2 feet below the earth. Put a little bend in the knees. See what that really looks like underneath the earth. Good. And as you inhale here, get a little more connected. As you begin to exhale, ground down. And feel that connection. And then just put in your mind's eye, in your muscle memory, in the cells, that the next time you go to set your feet in your address position for every shot, you will feel this connectedness to the earth to be able to draw power and strength. That was a great job on the standing series. Now we're going to begin the series of seated postures. First with a couple of core exercises, some very simple things to help you strengthen your core. A couple more stretches we're going to do for the hamstrings, and then we're going to finish with a beautiful post-round series of postures based in restorative yoga. Okay? First thing I want you to do is grab your strap and your block. Okay? And we'll bring the block right over our heads as we lie on our backs. Okay? Good. So squeeze the block at about a 25% level of intensity, and then just slowly start to bring the block so it's about a 45-degree angle over your head. Now drop your shoulders down, good, and then hold here, and then start to press your navel into your spine, the low back into the floor, and the rib cage down. Nice and solid here. So for some of us, this might be enough. You can feel free to stay here. Stay here for 10 or 15 breaths. Just keep working all of those abdominal muscles down to the ground. And breathe. Good. Now very slowly, pick this left leg off the floor and take it up to about a 90-degree angle right here. And then slowly lower the leg back down. Now notice when I did that, nothing moved here in my core. I'm still staying very, very stable as I bring the leg up. And also notice that I'm doing it slowly with my breath. Good. Bring the left leg up and slowly lower. So if you're doing this correctly, you should feel it not only deeply in the lower abdominals, but all of the abdominal muscles. Very, very slowly lift and lower the leg. And as you do it also, try not to rock the hips. Lift and lower. Great job. Hang in there. Good. Let's do one more on each side. Good. And left side, bring the leg up. Beautiful. And exhale, lower. Okay, nice. So now let's go into the yoga pose called extended table. And what this will do is to help you build now the muscles of the back, including the glutes. Okay? Bring your right leg straight back and bring your right leg up. Okay, and now you're going to bring your left arm up and extend it forward. Okay. So what we want to focus on here is not letting the low back dump. We're using the core to lift up. We're extending this right leg back, and we're really reaching with this left side. So I'd like you to hold this for about 5 deep breaths. Now this is also good because it challenges your balance. So if you fall over, just come back and join me. And 2. And 1, very good. Take the hand down, take the knee down. Beautiful. Let's bring the left leg straight back behind you. Flex your left foot, lift your left leg up, and really draw your navel in and up. Again, no dumping in your back, right? We want to strengthen the back here. And then sweep your right arm up and hold. And breathe. Make sure your palm is facing in, your shoulder is back and down, but you're really lengthening your spine. Hold for 3, and 2. Notice I'm taking long, slow breaths, and 1. Very good. Okay, so let's come into a hamstring stretch here. Just grab onto your strap. We're going to stretch the hamstring as well as the hip. So we'll just extend the legs forward. Okay, here I'll do it this way. And then bring your right leg up. And then just open your right hip like this. Now if your knee is really high on the floor, off the floor, feel free to take this block and put it underneath your knee so you're very supported here, okay? And then the strap will come around your left foot, okay? And sit up really tall, okay? Now at this point you can just start to walk your hands down the strap. And then hold here and breathe and relax your head. So by stretching the hamstrings, we're really directly affecting the health of the low back, the mobility in the hips. This helps with that. It's a really great thing to do if you've been traveling a lot and you feel like the backs of your legs are constricted. And it's also great for golf because it'll help you keep good knee flexion when you're in a bad lie. And as far as I know, the only time you get a perfect lie is on the tee box. Good, so make sure this foot is flexed. Good, so 3 more breaths. Again, relax your head, flexing this quad. Very important that you're flexing this quad. And 2. And 1, beautiful, and then rise up. And then we'll switch sides. Good. Right leg out, left leg up, and you can put the block underneath your left knee. Okay, and if you don't need it, then you don't need it. And take the strap around your right foot. Good. Okay. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale, flex this right foot, flex the quad, and then fold forward. So it's really important when you're practicing yoga that you're mindful the whole time that you are practicing. So when you go in and out of the poses is equally as important as being mindful and present as it is when you are setting up for the pose. So it's very similar to golf in that we have to have a certain set of mindfulness when we're playing, but we also have to have points of focus that are much more laser for short periods of time, okay? So just think about that this practice is helping you to be more focused when you're playing and helps you to become laser when you need to be laser with your focus and more meditative when you need to be more meditative. Very good. 2 more breaths. And you'll notice as you release, you get deeper. It's when we hold on and create more tension in the body that the muscles cannot let go. It's really about letting go. Now, I love the golf analogy of letting go. If you just had a triple bogey and you're walking to the next tee box, you might want to let that go. Good. Okay, then come on back up. We're going to do one more progression called a window washer progression. And what that does is this is going to get into the hips. We're using different styles of yoga to really get into the hips here. So starting on your back, take your feet about hip width apart. Okay, arms out to your side. Make sure your feet now, we'll take them now wider than hip width apart, as wide as the mat. And as you inhale, let your legs fall to the right. And exhale, bring them over to the left. Good, inhale right and over left. Good. Now, bring your knees over to the right and take your right foot on top of your left knee. Now, if you feel this in your knee at all, I don't want you to do that. I just want you to keep working this hip up towards the ceiling, okay? But if it's okay on your knee, put your right ankle on top of your left knee and hold here. So this is the next progression. So just hold here. But squeeze the muscles of the glutes as you press your hip up to the ceiling. Now, if you want to take this a step further, you can bring your arms up to a 90-degree angle, kind of like cactus arms, and really start to press the chest up towards the sky. And let's just hold here. So I'm still very active. I'm activating my glutes. I'm pushing up. I'm pressing my elbows into the ground. Beautiful. Good. Now again, being very mindful here, take your right foot off, and then let's just do a couple dynamic window washers here to get a little bit more movement in the hips. We're going to switch to the other side. Good. Okay, now let the knees go down to the left. Okay. Squeeze the glutes here and press your right hip up towards the ceiling. Put your left ankle on top of your right knee if it's okay, on your knee. And then push up a little bit more. Good. Good. And now you can bring your elbows at a 90-degree angle. Start to press your elbows into the ground as you really open up the chest and lift up. And breathe. So good. Excellent. Let's release there, and now let's do the window washers again, side to side. Okay. And then as we move on to the post round, I'm going to have you join me and grab a chair. Okay? So take a chair, and we want to place it like this on the mat. Okay? Good. And now we'll come to lying down. Now this is what's called restorative yoga. This is a passive release for your hips. It's a lovely thing to do after you play before bedtime, okay? So I'm going to begin with your left leg on the seat of the chair, and it should be at a 90-degree angle. And then extend your right leg out. Good. And just hold in this position. This is all you need to do. What we're doing is we're letting gravity sink you deeper into the stretch, into the pose. So you'll feel a deep release through the hips, okay? We're just going to be here for about 5 breaths. And if you want to stay longer for 10 breaths, feel free. This is all about letting go. Good, very good. So now you can switch sides. Okay. Just going to move my chair away. The most important pose that we do in yoga is called corpse pose. And corpse pose is when you give yourself somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes of relaxation. Completely quiet, flat on your back, okay? And you can also practice a visualization at that point. So let's just do about a minute or so of corpse pose together. So lying on your back, okay? Make sure you've got lots of room between the feet. If you have a hyperextension in your neck, feel free to put a little pillow or something under your neck, because the whole point here is that you feel very, very comfortable. Okay, palms face open, shoulders roll back and down. And now you just let everything go. So in yoga, yoga is very much about the mind and the body connected. And this is a time where you can really start to cultivate the creativity of the subconscious mind when you're in this relaxed state. And just let your breathing come to a normal pace. So you can start to take your breathing a little bit deeper now. Bring your hands over your head. Have a nice big cat stretch. Good. Just bend your knees here. Maybe pull one leg in, stretching out your back a bit. Left leg. And then just roll over onto your right side for a moment. Good, and then make your way up to sitting. So at the end of every yoga practice, we close by saying namaste, and namaste means that the highest part of me honors the highest part of you. And so I honor you taking this journey of yoga for golfers. Namaste. For myself and the PGA of Canada, thank you for participating in this second session of our 2014 Golf Fitness Series. We encourage you to share this Yoga for Golfers peak season performance and endurance video with your students. Attached is a PDF with additional yoga-based exercises to help you and your golfers play better, play longer, and play with more enjoyment on the courses in Canada. Be sure to join me in the webinar next week. Register here by clicking on this link. We look forward to having you join us next week.